Hey guys, working on a 2010 Toyota Matrix. This is the XRS with a 2.4 liter, and we're going to be changing the outer tie rod ends today. You can see we've already got the wheel off. This is the outer tie rod end. This is the inner tie rod end, and we'll be replacing them with these Mevotech Supreme line outer tie rod ends. These are, in this case, a non-greasable joint, and they do supply a new castle nut. And did we get a cotter pin as well with that? Yes, we did. We got a new jam nut and a new cotter pin. But yeah, pretty simple to change these things out. Obviously, you're going to lift the vehicle up and then remove the front wheel. In this case, they should be 5 21mm fasteners. Remove those to get to this point. And then the first thing that we're going to do is break this jam nut free. And we're going to need a 22mm wrench for that. Actually, I think it's 22. This is pretty rusted. So what we're going to do, we're just going to grab the wrench underneath it here, and we should be able to sort of push forwards. And all you want to do is just break it like that, just so that it just starts to move, and then we'll leave it at that. So the next thing after that is to remove this nut. And you'll see that there's a cotter pin installed in there. And a lot of times, like in this case, they get really rusted in there. And when you go to take them out, the cotter pin just simply snaps off and you can't get it out. Not a big deal. I don't even take the cotter pins out when I replace outer tie rod ends. The cheat code for that is literally get a 17mm socket. That should be the factory size for the castle nut. You just set that up top, and we're just gonna hammer it on. And once it's on there, you just get yourself your impact gun. Now in this case, it's just spinning the stud. So we're gonna have to just get a pry bar in there to put some tension on this stud. You can see this outer tie rod end's been replaced already. It's got a Moog on there. So you just put a little tension on the bottom of that and press the joint up into the knuckle. It's gonna seat the taper harder and keep that stud from spinning. Normally with if it's a factory tie rod end, they usually never spin and the nut comes off real easy. So once you get to this point, next thing we got to do is shock the knuckle to get that taper to release. See right now, oh, okay, I completely lied to you. Normally this is going to be really stuck in there, and you can hit this all you want, it's not going to come down. You don't want to just hammer on the top of that stud, otherwise it's going to mushroom out and it's not going to pass through the hole. So what you do is you hammer on here. There is actually a proper tool that you're supposed to use. That will go in here and it spreads apart in order to get that to drop down. Or you could use a thing called a pickle fork. That's literally a fork that you wedge in here and you hammer it in. It's tapered, so it just forces the tie rod end to come off. But anyways, once you get this off, then you should be able to just spin the joint counterclockwise to unthread it from the inner tie rod end. Now, in this particular case, the alignment is completely out to lunch on this car, so I'm not going to take a measurement from this nut. However, if the alignment is fine on your car at the time of doing this job, then what you should do is take a measurement from the end of this nut, where this face is, to the end of the tie rod, and measure that distance so that you know where to put the nut back to. Because right now we're going to take the nut off so we can clean the threads up nice so the nut goes all the way on and all the way off, so that when the guy goes to do the alignment, he has no problems and he can make the adjustment just fine. But like I say, in this case, this car is completely out to lunch, so we're just going to have to manually set it by eye and tape measure. In this case, what we're going to do now is just get a wire wheel on a drill, and we're going to clean these threads up the best that we can. And then we'll get a hold of this inner tie rod end, keep it from spinning, and zip this nut off of here. Okay, so get yourself some vice grips or whatever wrench fits on this section. You can see that it's cut out for a wrench. I believe it's 14 millimeter, if I remember correctly. Then we're gonna get a 22 millimeter socket for our jam nut, and we're gonna try to take this nut off. And just like that, it comes right off. If yours doesn't come right off, you may have to put a little heat into it and either use a torch or an induction heater or something like that just to get that to let go. But now that it's off, I'm gonna grab myself a die and I'm gonna run a die down this to completely clean these threads and refurbish them the best that they can be. And while you're in here, you might as well just check the tie rod end, pull it back and forth and make sure there's no play in it. And Toyota tie rods are really, really good. I honestly really never see outer tie rod ends, inner tie rod ends, or ball joints go in these Matrixes and Corollas. Can't say I've ever seen them go bad, and I've worked on a lot. Not to say that they don't, but they're pretty rare to go bad. But anyways, there is a clamp that's up here that secures the boot to the inner tie rod. And you can see turning this, we want the inner tie rod end to be able to move freely in that boot so that when somebody goes to align it and turn this thing a bunch, it doesn't wind that boot up. Pretty important step. So if it is stuck on there, just take the clamp, take it off, and stick a small flathead screwdriver or something underneath of it and break that rust bond, because that boot will be rusted to the shaft. And just maybe spray a little bit of lubricant underneath of there, get it moving nice. So at this point, I'm just gonna grab that, that die, and I'll let you know what size threads these are. No, maybe not. Nope. Nope. Okay, so the thread on this one is gonna be an M16 by 1.5. And I'm just gonna get a socket. We're gonna put some cutting oil on here and just run it down and back a couple times, and that'll clean those threads right up. So we want pretty much right to the end. Okay. See how nice that goes on now? That's how you want it. You want the die to just go on really nice so that when you put the nut on there, everything moves super slick. Okay, just give this a bit of a wash with some parts cleaner. And we're just going to apply some anti-seize onto this. So we're going to thread this on. Okay, so we're just going to kind of set this to 30.89. That seems to be kind of the magic number. And now what we got to do is just install our outer tie rod end. Pretty simple. So we can remove the plastic guard cover. That's just there to protect the boot. Take this thing, thread it on. And you see me just cleaning off these mounting surfaces on the knuckle. It's very important that we clean those, guys. We don't want any dirt, grease, rust, none of that stuff underneath of the nut. We want it clean and dry so that our torque is proper. And also, you see we've got a rubber seal that's here. That needs to seal up against the bottom of the knuckle to keep moisture and all that stuff out of the boot and keep the grease in. Now, once you get close here to, you see how once it contacts, it wants to turn that nut? What we're gonna do is back this off until the stud's pointed up to go into the knuckle. And then we're just going to simply rotate the inner tie rod end until the nut gets to the outer tie rod end, so right about there. And then we just simply move the stud so that it's pointed sort of upwards. Locate the hole, install that, put our nut on there. And now we're gonna run this down and torque it. So we're just gonna run this down. The torque spec for this castle nut is 36 foot-pounds. Okay, now we also need to check. You can see that the hole where the cotter pin passes through isn't aligned with the castellations. So we're gonna need to continue to tighten this until the holes line up with the castellations. We're almost there. Oops. Right about there. Just simply pass the cotter pin through and fold it over. Everybody does their cotter pins differently. This is just how I do mine. Need to just bend it so it can't fall out, that's all. Then you just need to simply tighten this down. And it doesn't need to be too tight. It's 55 foot-pounds if you want to be specific. But you want it like nice and snug so it's not going to back off. And make sure to put some more anti-seize on the exposed threads just to keep the rust at bay. But that's pretty much it. After that, you're just into putting the wheel back on, and then you need to make sure that you go take your vehicle to a professional to have a four-wheel alignment done. And if you don't, then your tires are probably going to look like this, and you're going to have to buy new tires. Not to mention it's probably not going to handle very well. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I guess the wheel, when you put the wheel on, the torque spec is 76 foot-pounds according to Toyota. I personally put them to 100. You want to tighten them down in a 5-star pattern, do 2 passes of that, and then after 60 miles or 100 kilometers of driving, you should always do a wheel retorque and just ensure that everything's settled, torqued down, and safe. Another thing to point out is to clean the back of the wheel hub, make sure there's no corrosion on this face, as well as the disc that the wheel seats up against. You can see all this corrosion. We got to clean all that off. Just make sure that both surfaces are nice and clean. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to check out any parts that we use in the video, go to mevotech.com. They got a whole list of parts. If you're in Canada, you can buy them from Parts Avatar, or if you're in the United States, you can go on Rock Auto. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.